Peter Navarro, of course, Trade and Industrial Policy Director for Donald Trump. On a very big market day, Peter, you have to explain to me what we say to companies that our viewers own, and that is the Targets and the Walmarts, and then, of course, the international papers that are among the biggest exporters and importers, that they should not fear what Donald Trump wants to do with trade.
Let's go back to the day after the election. Everybody that morning, the futures were spiking negative. It was crazy. Everybody's running around with their hair on fire. It's just nuts. And the argument that day was simple. Look, calm down. Donald Trump is going to do four things. He's going to cut taxes, particularly the corporate tax. He's going to reduce regulation. He's going to unleash our energy sector. And he's going to make smart, tough trade deals that increase our growth, decrease our trade deficit, and strengthen our manufacturing base. And he came in, as he has been doing, with a measured response that'll be very effective in keeping our jobs here. So I think this was a great day for America. 2 days ago, we were sitting in a room all together going over these executive orders, and we agreed that these would move forward today. So that's pretty good. But you know, look, I'm here. I know you want to sell soap here with salacious stories or whatever, but I'm here to talk about two historical events. The omnibus investigation is historical because no sitting president has ever looked at the issue of trade deficits and trade abuses in this way and promised to take action. The Customs and Border Protection order is historic because here we have agencies working strongly together with the White House, solving a problem with the stroke of a pen in less than 30 days when we're looking at this, that's gone on for 15 years. So I would say that's pretty good for President Trump and his team.
Hey, Peter, no one's trying to sell soap. After all, you put Death by China in the title of your book. I'm sure you sold a lot of soap.
Come on, guys.
But, you know, the impacts are already starting to take shape. You saw in the days leading up to the G7 a lot of anger from European allies over not being exempted from these tariffs. And in his book, he did write that kind of, you know, discord would be could be potentially very dangerous.
The reality here is that institutionally, the international trade system is designed to cheat us. They have systematically higher tariffs on us, but more importantly, and far more importantly, it's the non-tariff cheating. It's the VAT taxes, it's the currency manipulation, the dumping, the export subsidies, the fake standards that keep our agricultural products out and keep our cars out of Japan. It's all these things that these foreign countries do that are designed explicitly to cheat us and are sanctioned by the World Trade Organization. So President Trump says no more, no mas, ain't happening on his watch, and that's where we're headed. We're heading towards a strong America that makes things again. I think if you're an investor right now at this point in time trying to look at the chessboard here, it's really important to understand that the impact of these tariffs from a macroeconomic point of view are zero. The impact on the inflation rate are just close to zero. It's like a nothing burger.
What's more shocking is his lack of integrity and moral ethics. He wrote several books on economics, including best-selling Death by China, and is found to have quoted a non-existing Harvard PhD student scholar a dozen times. That scholar, Navarro, a China hawk, turns out to be an imaginary character Navarro quotes to support his notion of the China threat. When the lie was uncovered, Navarro only playfully called it an inside joke and a whimsical device and pen name purely for entertainment value. Navarro turns out to be an anagram of Navarro's last name, meaning he quotes for self-confirmation, although mainstream economists accused him of creating a new wave of thought dubbed as the stupid school.
You are the hero on January 6th, Steve. As I say in Chapter 21 of In Trump Time, you were the guy who had the Green Bay Packers sweep strategy to go up to Capitol Hill. Pence is the quarterback. We had 100 people working on the Green Bay team as linemen, halfbacks, and fullbacks, pulling guards who were going to make sure that we remanded the results back to the battleground states for a couple of weeks so we could get to the bottom of that.
So, in case you didn't recognize him in a black T-shirt, that was former White House trade guy Peter Navarro last month telling Steve Bannon that he's the hero of January 6th for their joint plan on how to stop the certification of President Joe Biden's presidency, essentially admitting to the coup plot.
This guy, the In Trump Time book shows unequivocally that both Stephen K. Bannon and President Trump should be exonerated of any violence on Capitol Hill on January 6th. And what I show in the In Trump Time book is this plan we had called the Green Bay Sweep, clearly between constitutional and legal lines, to basically have only legal votes counted in the election. And we had
you mentioned that we prepared for that. So let's take a look. You mentioned this this plan. Here's Steve Bannon talking about it on January 6th.
So I keep saying the mantra, you call the play, now run the play, right? It's like the old Green Bay power sweep. It's very simple. It's very, just one thing leads to another, very logical, and a victory is affirmed.
So go ahead and tell us in your own words, what was the plan and who was in on it besides you, Bannon, and Trump?
Sure. The backstory is while I was in the administration after the election, beginning on Thanksgiving, I produced what would be an exhaustive 3-volume report. I went over tens of thousands of pages of documents and proved that the election was in all likelihood stolen through fraud and election irregularities. That's the background. On January 6th, the Green Bay Sweep plan.
That's false, but the question for the start of the interview.
We'll
yes, it is fine. But the question for the start of the interview is, I just want to make sure here that we're kind of going by rules of the road. The question is, and you'll get time to talk.
You got to say that. And what I'm saying is that
I don't have to say anything, sir. I'm asking you. The question is, what was the plan itself and who was in on it?
Meanwhile, the investigation into the January 6th attack on the Capitol is now centering on one of former President Trump's top advisors. Members of the committee subpoenaed Peter Navarro Wednesday. They say he has information directly relevant to their investigation. But as with subpoenas issued to other former White House staffers, there is no suggestion he will cooperate.
Let the man talk. Let the man talk.
Please play this on your channels, because this is just wrong. I'm trying to speak about serious constitutional issues with you. Clown with a whistle, witch with a broom. You go figure.
Now, you've had a busy day. Where are you coming from today?
I have had a busy day. I got out of prison this morning in Miami, and I'm here tonight in Milwaukee with a very simple message I'll be delivering on stage later, but it's simply if we don't control our government, their government will control us. If we don't control all 3 branches of our government, legislative, executive, judicial, their government will put some of us, like me and Steve Bannon, in prison. Their government will control the rest of us. And what my experience has been, and I really want people to understand this, is it took all 3 branches of the government, controlled by the Democrats, weaponizing the government for partisan purposes, to put me behind bars for all of the wrong reasons. I think you folks just want to know if you can see my MAGA tattoo I got there. Yes, indeed. This morning I did walk out of a federal prison in Miami. Joe Biden and his Department of Injustice put me there. Tonight I'm here with you in this beautiful city of Milwaukee. I got a very simple message for you. If they can come for me, and if they can come for Donald Trump, be careful, they will come for you. If we don't control our government, their government will control us.
And we're following breaking news right now. Jurors have found Peter Navarro guilty of 2 counts of contempt of Congress. This comes after the former Trump White House advisor failed to respond to subpoenas issued by the January 6th House Select Committee. Now, prosecutors accuse Navarro of deliberately and illegally refusing to respond to those subpoenas for records and testimony. Now, Navarro argued he could not be compelled to testify before Congress. Obviously, the jury saw it differently.
Navarro became the first person from the Trump administration to go to prison over January 6th.
I'm pissed. That's what I'm feeling right now, but I'm also afraid of only one thing. I'm afraid for this country.
If the Trump tax cuts expire, that's going to be a $400 billion tax hike, right? Which would be a shock to this system and be recessionary. If you had Druckenmiller's 10% tariff, that's about $350 to $400 billion in revenue. So you see the beauty of that in the negotiations, but that's
because it's going to be like a golden age gold rush for these companies, because the sooner one of them, all of them, get to a point where they have more American-made content, there's no tariffs, and there's more sales and more profits, and life will be good. So trust in Trump. I mean,
I know what's going on. And
yeah, I was watching the show this morning, and some guy gets on and goes, tariffs are going to cause inflation. The Fed's not going to lower rates. It's like, what is that spin all about? I mean, we had the most aggressive tariff agenda in the first term, and there was zero inflation. We had absolute price stability. And tariffs don't cause inflation. The president is launching the most aggressive strategic energy dominance price. Look, what they should be talking about is what $50 barrel oil is going to do, plus DOGE and deregulation and tax cuts are going to do to bringing down inflation. And what's interesting to me, Becky, is like there's never any discussion about why the president wants to. We've come such a long way. I mean, back in 2016 when we had these discussions, it's like heads exploded when you even mentioned the word tariff or changing trade, right? But now people understand what President Trump wants to do, and it's a beautiful thing.